I hesitate to show this to Huhi because there's still a lot of game to be played.
Yeah.
Okay.
But currently NRG is at
Ooh.
97%.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like 97% at all. Like,
Every one game is very important.
dude, every game I'm like, my life is depending on it right now.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Pros. This week I'm happy to be joined by CoreJJ, Massu, and Huhi. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
We're going to kind of be reviewing stuff that's been going on in the LCS, and I'm actually going to start with a team that is not represented here, but Shopify, just because they got their first win. Huhi, I'm going to start with you because your victory over Shopify, I think, was the talk of last week. What do you think the team has improved with, like, obviously Boogie coming in?
I think Boogie is just kind of playing better than Tomio, especially AP jungles. That's what we want to think because we went like 4 Elder Dragons versus them. So hope that they're good, like so that we're not that bad. Well, I definitely do think they're like better, especially with Insanity like playing like a lot of AD mids, and I think he's pretty good with those AD mids, and I think those two are like their main reason of why they're playing better now.
Is that something you prep for? Like what happened when you prepped for them? Were you expecting exactly what you saw out of Boogie and Insanity?
I think that's what we're prepping for because we know that Boogie likes playing AP junglers and Insanity likes playing AD mids or those weird mid picks. Like last season he was playing like stuff like Sion a lot, and like teams were kind of thinking about it a lot. It was in the conversation too when we're like prepping like in the draft meeting, but yeah, I think we kind of knew what we're facing.
And then for you two, your experience is going to come more with scrims, but I'll start with you, Core. What has been the main difference that you've seen in Shopify, and how much better do you think they are now?
I think Shopify is doing like day and night different. Before the Boogie coming in, before Boogie is playing, they were basically not doing anything. And I think Boogie is very proactive player, and then he wanted to do something. I mean, sometimes it's very annoying to play versus like someone like Boogie. Like he's just playing not unexpected play, so that break the plan a little bit. And then I think they are doing very well. When mid jungle is main role right now in the meta, Insanity is really good at mid AD carry meta. So I think they can do better. Honestly, I expected they were gonna win the NRG last week. I think they're a good team actually.
What if you don't mind me asking, how have you guys done against them in scrims?
I think our recent scrim against Shopify, I think we got straight on.
Okay.
I think. And I think in general, I think in scrim, we are not doing the best, but I think we are finding way to the like best way to win the game. And we don't mind too much losing or not. But I think we are getting closer to be the top again.
And Massu, you face them next week.
I think Boogie is much more connected to the game than when they didn't have him. So, and I always thought SR had really good ADC.
Mm-hmm.
And I think B-Boy, it seems like from when we scrim them or when I watch them, it seems like he dictates what happens most of the game. And it's all around him getting resources. So I think now that they have Boogie as well, you have to worry about him too, not just B-Boy. So I think they're a lot scarier than before.
How well do you guys think, can they make playoffs? I mean, mathematically they can, but
Yeah.
based on their play, will they make playoffs? Obviously, this is a dangerous question for you,
Yeah.
because these two have already qualified.
I mean, if I answer first, I hope not. Like the bottom team has to stay bottom down there so that I feel a little more safe. But they play FlyQuest and Huhi as their last opponents.
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. I mean, for sure, I think they can beat 100 Thieves. FlyQuest will be I think, their biggest challenge. But FlyQuest, you guys looked a little shaky game one, but you guys looked really solid after that. So I think if they can beat FlyQuest, sure.
Yeah.
But I hope that you guys can beat them. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Massu, you can do Huhi a solid by winning.
Yeah. We'll try.
Thank you.
If we lose, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, they can make it, I think. I guess it depends if they beat us and then their next game.
I mean, every team is so close, right?
Yeah.
Even NRG is the first place with 2 wins. So I think they can still make it.
Yeah, right now, playoff percentages are looking like this. I hesitate to show this to Huhi because there's still a lot of game to be played.
Yeah.
Okay.
But currently, NRG is at
Ooh.
97%.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like 97% at all. Like,
Every one game
yeah.
is very important.
Dude, every game I'm like, my life is depending on it right now. So it doesn't. I'm just gonna say that it doesn't feel like 97% at all. Yeah.
I'm gonna turn to the other team that everyone's been talking about, which is C9. You guys face them next week. Huhi, you face them this week. I hate to keep coming to you first for questions, but what is it about C9 that you think that's made them so much stronger this split as opposed to last split?
So much stronger this split. Well, I'm not too sure if they're like so much stronger. I think they've been always kind of like solid. And I feel like for me at least, our game versus them this like yesterday, especially game one, it just felt like we had the lead and we were on the driver's seat and we just messed it up. Game two, those games happen where like Israel starts with 3 kills and it's berserker on Israel. So like, he's going to do his job. He's going to be really annoying and he's going to kind of carry if we make mistakes. But that being said, I felt like we had a pretty good chance versus them. So I don't think they're like this unbeatable team which has 0 losses. I think they're definitely beatable, and I definitely think even Team Liquid they play next week, they have a really good chance of beating them.
Yeah, I mean, C9 even last spring split. I mean, people tend to forget they were the clearly 3rd best team. They only lost to the C9 and then Team Liquid and then FlyQuest, and they haven't played versus Team Liquid or FlyQuest yet. I think they were already good, and now they need to show like they are legit got better or not. I think next 2 weeks matter a lot for them.
So, yeah, do you think they have actually improved or?
Oh yeah, I think every team got improved since spring to summer split. I think this meta fit well on the C9. So I would say they got improved well. They got
You're going to
better.
beat them.
They got better, but I'm not actually worried.
What about you, because you face them in the week after?
I think from scrimming them, they just seem to play a lot more as a team compared to last split. I think last split they were disconnecting. Like every single player was just like playing their own game. So I think that was the biggest difference for me.
How do you tell something like that in scrims from like?
Just like when they're making plays, when they're how each person is even playing their lane, like it can affect the rest of the game, of course. So that matters too.
I'm gonna return to something you said, Core, kind of when you were talking about TL scrim performance. When you are at the top of the table, how difficult is it to stay on top, and where do you find those moments to try to improve?
Didn't think about that way. I think when we went to the international stage, MSI and then EWC, we learned a lot. I think in some way we learned too much. So we can say like, oh, we could do this one, we could do this one, we could do this one. Now we can see a lot of things we can do. So game is like very more like complicated and not simple, hard to be on the same page. So I think we are figuring out and then which one is good for us what we were good at, and we're in the process. I think we're doing well.
Massu, did you have a similar experience coming back from internationals?
Yeah, I'd say it was mostly for me and Alan or Busio. I think just like playing against the teams and especially their bot lanes, we realized how much like we were missing or how lazy we were with some things. So it was like a good reality check to show us how to improve and like what to focus on.
What do you think the number one thing NA teams let you get away with is? Yeah, it feels like I mean, you obviously have a ton of international experience. You made a face. I felt like you had an answer.
Well, we're like going away with, or like.
Yeah, what is the number one thing you think North American teams don't punish compared to when you've gone internationally?
I think it's just the laning phase. Like it's just so much weaker like in every position, in my opinion. Like they just understand better as a team how to punish and how to not get punished. And punishing is much easier than not getting punished, in my opinion. So, and I think Asian teams, when they even play a losing matchup, they know how to lose the least. And I think that's like a big thing for me.
Yeah, I agree with Huhi, and then, I mean, it's like very different when you play versus like international Batio, and then playing versus NA Batio. Like, your confidence level is different, even from the draft page.
Yeah.
Against this bot, we can play more greedy way to play the bar lane, because if you don't lose lane, you're gonna win the game. And then you will not get punished based on their skill level. So the laning page is definitely the thing. And then more NA team are making more like very weird mistake, like very simple mistake that not many Asian team are making a mistake, like just randomly dying when enemy team is just walking to you like on the vision or something, and something that you cannot explain is happening a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you explain it when you do it?
It happens. I mean, NA. I mean, when it happened to me, unlucky. Yeah.
Okay. But other players, it's just bad?
I mean, I don't know. Just happens sometimes.
Yeah. Just sometimes like you have those games, and it's like kind of, I think your teammates to step it up and kind of cover your teammates' weakness. But yeah, I think not the top teams, at least. I think on the bottom teams, we kind of don't have that connection like you guys have, like where we cover for each other's mistakes, because everyone kind of just want to play their own game. So it makes it hard to play the team game.
How do you think an NA team can kind of, I guess, keep those things in mind and make noise internationally? Because I feel like that's always been the challenge, right?
Well, I feel like we've made noises. Like we've made some noises. Like we definitely improved internationally. I think Team Liquid and Energy, when I wasn't there, they started showing up a bit, and I think we definitely outperformed like EU quite a bit now. But I think it's about like consistency. Any as a whole region has to step it up, like not only the top teams. And I feel like right now it's just only the top teams like are playing well. And the bottom teams are like, I don't know, like our quality level is like really low. And I think we just got to step it up by, I don't know, like maybe drop some ego, like try to learn as much as possible and kind of have a reality check.
So it sounds like you're including yourself in the bottom teams. But whenever we talk to other pros, even on last week's episode, everyone is like, oh, NRG can maybe do something. So I'll turn to Core and Massu. Where do you rate NRG? You can tell Huhi right now.
I think during the spring split, I thought NRG was the last place level of team. And then actually, I think this summer, I can see like NRG, like why NRG player were good. I think not showing consistently, but they're showing like sometimes why these players were considered the best players. I think Spring worst team right now. Good potential right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same as Core. I think
Yeah.
honestly, they're like if I were to place them right now, I would think they could get fourth over the other teams.
That's
Yeah.
been the consensus.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the consensus. I think we at least have more agency compared to the bottom teams, but I don't think I'm gonna put myself in the top tier teams because I still see a lot of improvements that we have to do, and I mean that's why like for me, like I've already accepted where I am at as a team and as a player, and I think it's just important for me to kind of be positive and yeah. I'm like just positive about our improvements right now, and we just gotta focus on ourselves. And I think we definitely have the potential to be back up there.
What's the biggest takeaway from like this week's loss?
This week's loss, yeah, I mean, I think it's just for us. We are aware of our issue. It's just like Corey is saying, consistency and habits and discipline. Like those three things are like the hardest thing to really improve on as a player because sometimes you just get bored or you just have a bad day. Like it's about like being consistent in practice, right? And yeah, I think we're trying to tackle that as much as possible, and whether that's like coaches talking to us or we talk like as teammates to each other, stuff like that, I think we're going to the right direction.
You laughed and you said sometimes you get bored. Do players just get bored sometimes?
Oh yeah. I think last few weeks we were very bored during the scrim. Sometimes I tell team like, I guess we don't want to win. It's okay, we don't want to win. Like, but I think in those situations, like always, stage game helps us a lot. Like having a stage game, like making us like come back to on the track, and I believe today's win will bring us back on the track.
Yeah. Have you gotten bored at all, Massu? Or like, because you're new to all of this, right?
I'm a big culprit. Yeah, sometimes we have like a plan, and then I might do something random, which I've been doing less of. So
In a scrim, it's fine though, right? Because I mean, not fine,
Not really.
but not fine. But what is? I guess so. Then, what is the difference between like testing your limits, especially as a rookie, right, as opposed to making such a massive mistake that it then inhibits your ability to learn from that practice?
mostly I think if you're actually testing your limit, it's like you're playing out the situation to either like block the enemy play or make your play as good as possible, and then you're playing the line to like make it as hard as possible for them or as good as possible for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess like inting would just be like there's like a team plan that's already happening, and then you see like an angle to 1v1 someone, and it might give you a kill and might lose you the whole game, and you just go for it. So it's like, I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean, also it's really easy to tell when that happens, when you kind of know how that person is reacting to the confrontation that you're getting. Like, you're kind of saying, oh, but like, if this goes well, like, everything is gonna be okay, right? Like, but like, that's not what we're asking for. We're trying to like be a team and trying to like improve together. So I think you can kind of tell if someone is testing the limit or kind of inting by just seeing their reaction like after the game too.
Oh, bot lane is sometimes a bit more isolated than the rest of the map, or at least you're focusing hard on like the 2v2, right? So if you are going for that type of play, how do you convince your teammates that is what it is instead of just inting?
You just take it, and then if you lose, say my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You can't stop taking
You
it.
just have to own up to
Yeah,
it.
I think for me, like scrim is always like trying to do your 100%, not more than 100%, less than 100%, and then if your limit is wrong, you will know. And then if your limit is right, you should just take it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You agree?
Yeah.
For sure.
You can't just stop like taking it. I don't know.
Yeah, you need to punish Inter.
Yeah, you gotta play aggressive and you gotta be proactive as much as possible. I mean that I think that's why like the consistency and getting bored is like the issue here because it's just like not that simple. Like like outside perspective, they might just think, oh, just don't get bored. Like why are you getting bored? Right? It's just not that simple. We're humans, and like when you play the same champion over and over, and someone it's like every single time it's not even about the same person mistake the same mistake. It's like another person will make the mistake, and the next game is like it just keeps going, right? And it's just important that 5 players can just try to stop that cycle somehow.
What does that discussion look like then? Again, like if your teammates are like, oh, why are you doing this? And then you're like, my bad. What is the resulting discussion?
Well, I think that process is very important. I mean, you can tell if they are making a mistake, so you punish it, or you are asking them to make a mistake.
Yeah.
You are creating enemy team's mistake. It's very two different things. If you are passively looking at the situation or actively looking for the volatility, so I think it's different. And then I think we can just tell by watching the plays.
Yeah, I think the thought process is like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is that super different for you coming from, because you've also talked about this in other interviews of like just not being punished nearly as much when you were in NACL and then coming out to LCS?
Yeah. I guess like it was different at the beginning, but now it's like I've already gotten up to speed, I think. So yeah, I think it's the same now.
What was there anything now that you have a full split and almost 2 splits under your belt? What has surprised you the most?
I was surprised in terms of like when we went to MSI and EWC. I was surprised like maybe the difference in how the teams played, like in scrims or even on stage matches. I think LCS, well, it's like faster paced than NACL, and it's obviously like higher level of play. I think it's still not very polished. Like there's a lot of random mistakes like happen, like Huhi and Core said, and there's like when a team gets control of the game, they throw it away easily, I think.
Since you guys have both played against him, how has he improved this split from when you first faced him? Or like, is there any advice you would have for him?
I mean, I think he's doing really well. I think FlyQuest bot lane especially, I think, are like kind of the strongest in the LCS. That's how I feel right now. And I feel like they're just playing really solid, even though I think last split, I think their top side kind of carried them a little bit, and they still play solid. But I think right now, they sometimes even carry them. And even today's game, I think their top side, at least in the beginning, were kind of struggling, and like they're those pressure point, getting solo kills, getting dove by themselves, stuff like that. So I think, yeah, especially for like the new players, I think it's just good to see like them executing this kind of dives, like 2v2 dives by themselves, bot lane and stuff like that, and kind of getting the lead. So yeah, I think they're just doing really well. So not much advice for me to give.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was a bit impressive at the beginning when he first time playing in the LCS, because when even though he just called up, like he's playing extremely aggressive, and then he's not afraid of taking fight. And then I mean, if enemy team is better than you, like you're gonna get punished. But that's why he's keep challenging his limit. So I think they were doing really well, and then playing consistently aggressive, and then they're still playing aggressive, so they could keep improving. I think they're doing pretty good.
Kind of bottom of the table, I did want to touch briefly on Dignitas, who were the team that lost to Shopify. How do each of you kind of rate Dignitas and their performance, and what has kind of... Because I feel like they were still really high in people's estimation because they did manage to take games, but not series, off of top teams. So where would you guys place them?
I feel like they couldn't find their identity. I don't know what, like I can't think what they are good at right now. So I think they might be the problem. I don't know what they are good at. When I think about the other team, they have some specialty, like energy, like to play like Kalista playing aggressive, fighting, and Insanity is gonna play AD mid, Boogie is gonna play AP jungle. Like I can see some concept, but on the Dignitas, I'm not sure yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Core. I think mostly the same, and I think they were a bit overhyped because people like saw high-profile names, and like they expected them to be really good, which is like fair, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Massu. I think they're a little overhyped. They're a little overhyped. I think they're where they belong. We're like in the mid to like mid low, kind of contesting us. I think they are decent, but I don't think they'll really be amazing.
Do you think that's just because, I guess people see in their minds what they achieved previously and then ascribe that to the roster? Or?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think some of those plays into it. It's just when I see those 5 players together, yeah, I mean, I know their names, but I'm not that scared of them, Yeah.
With when Dig faced you guys, you did end up dropping a game.
Yeah.
What do you think they did do well in there that they might be able to improve on going forward?
What game did I lose? I think I remember I played Ivan versus Leona versus Ivan Brown, and then it was very painful to play. Yeah, I think that series, I think they did play their game. They played Ivan's game, and then we didn't play. I think to beat the Ivan, you need to play well, but we didn't play well, so that when they played Ivan game, we couldn't beat them.
What is the key to beating Ivern?
Playing well. Ivan, if you play like noob, you cannot beat Ivan.
Wow, we really are the league of Ivern. We touched upon NRG, so we won't pick on Huhi anymore.
Yeah, don't attack me anymore, guys. We're already down there. We're trying to be positive here. Let us be positive.
But right now, obviously, we have Dig, 100 Thieves, Immortals, and Shopify all at 1-4 in like series score. Dignitas is ahead slightly in game score because of the games that they were able to take. Of those teams, who do you think has the chance of being the best, like not only making playoffs but actually being able to do something in it?
I think it's Shopify. For me, it's clearly Shopify among those teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have the most potential.
Why?
I think just with them adding Boogie back, and I think already they like, if B-Boy is strong in the game, they already have like a carry to play through.
Yeah.
And I think he knows his role like really well. And more than that, I think he knows what he needs from all his teams. So now that they have Boogie who can also shot call, I think they have a lot more potential than the other 3 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with them with Shopify. If I had a different team, it will be 100 Ds. I think their top side is just solid. Like Sniper has been, I think, solo killing a lot recently. And River and Quid are both really good players from like last split. I think we all know that. Yes, the meta doesn't really like fit them like last split, but since like Vi priority is like rising up in LCK again and stuff like that, like maybe like the Vitalia or like Vi, like it's like their time,
Yeah.
And I think for them it's just kind of figuring out their weak bottom lane, how to not get dove and be stable.
I agree. I think 100 Tips and Shopify have players can be the top team,
Yeah.
like top class players in the LCS, but other teams at best is mid-core.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a little bit of difference.
I guess for me, I'm surprised at Shopify only because that means that Boogie has made such a difference in their play. What's been going on in scrims against Shopify?
I mean, for me, not much. I just think Boogie is just better than Tomio, and Insanity is just solid, and like they've said before, is always kind of like ahead or like at least even and doing his job. So I think that just makes them like a solid team that can like have better chance compared to other bottom teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think biggest thing is also, I think it's really important to find the team identity so that they can consistently playing their game. I think Shopify looks like they found a way to play the game, and when some team know how to play their game, the other team need to play well. So if you're not playing well against Shopify, you're gonna lose.
So it's kind of that idea of them having a specific way of play that you have to respond
Yeah,
to.
they have a like Ivan game. They have a Shopify's game. So if they know how to play their game, it's a really good step.
What? Only because I always hear players and coaches say we just have to play our game, and obviously that is a shortcut for like what we've been doing really well or what we know we can do really well. But then what becomes the difference maker between playing your game and not playing your game? This is something I've always wanted to ask players because it's always a default answer in interviews.
I mean, it depends like what kind of draft you have. I mean, from there, like you're already kind of choosing like what game you want to play. Like you can either play early game or like mid game strong, stacking dragons. Like FlyQuest were trying like they picked 3 games of Kalista. First game they didn't really prioritize that much dragon, and in mid late game you just have a lethality Kalista that is not a threat anymore, right? And they just had longer range, so like they were struggling. And after that, I felt like you guys were gonna change your draft priorities, but they still went with Kalista with engage support, and they just put more priorities on the dragon and like on the boss side. So they just played their game. Like I think that's what it is, and I think I guess draft is the easiest way to tell.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah.
Both of your series and just like what it means to play your game.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been hearing it ever since I came into LCS, but I guess like play your game to me is like just like focus on your role, what your comp wants to do, like the overall like idea of how you want to play the map, and then just try to like make plans around it and execute it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like playing on your draft, your champion well is playing your game.
Yeah.
Like you're not picking Kalista to go like 40-minute late game and then stay behind, not farming, not diving, but not fighting 2v2 or something.
Yeah.
You pick Kalista to fight. So if they fight with a Kalista, they know how to play their game. So I think finding a champion fit with your team is very important.
This fly is like
And
our
there's a lot.
fourth guest.
Is there
What's
like 2
going
or
on?
all
All right, we are going to be on 14-15 next week. Have any of you looked at the patch?
No, yeah.
I have not seen it. No.
Nope.
Well, I heard something like boots change or something.
Oh,
That's
I
kinda
remember
big.
seeing that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
remember exactly
there's
what-
the boots change. There's also Aurora being enabled because she was on this patch,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
How much practice have you guys seen of Aurora?
I've seen Aurora in the swarm mode once.
At least I played once.
I don't remember. Like, I just know she has an invisible thing, and she has like a big Camille ulti thing. But yeah, I just heard that she's a little strong. But it will be up to me to try to figure it out as well.
Yeah.
It's OP Ballet and I'm gonna play next week.
Nice. Us too, yeah. Busa has been
Nice.
spamming it, yeah.
when it comes to, because obviously I do understand why you wouldn't necessarily look that far ahead, right? Especially when you're prepping for LCS teams. When it comes to looking at patch changes, how do each of you approach that? Like, how far ahead do you look?
I mean, we'll try to focus on the current patch we're playing on. We're just looking at, just try to get an idea from the future patch. If Lion nerfed the champion, I guess this champion was OP, so we'll try to play the champion on the current patch. And if they buff the champion, other way. And for me, it's like focusing on the current patch and then thinking later when patch actually come true.
Yeah, just on the patch that we're playing on right now, and then for the future patch, it's mostly just like looking at the really popular champs, like what kind of nerfs or buffs happened, like item changes, maybe if they haven't changed like objectives or anything in a while, so anything like that, just like big changes.
Yeah, I think we're similar, where we will kind of decide our own like meta in the patch, but that meta might be completely wrong. When we watch LPL or LCK, we're like, oh wait, they're not doing that, or like they're pricing other champions. So like we'll try to kind of copy them and kind of be on the back foot. But I think it's just hard to kind of consistently be right in the moment.
That is one thing that's changed this year, though, because for the most part, we've actually been on the patch ahead of them.
Yeah.
So is that something that you then like readjust, where you're like, oh, we had the wrong read, and LPL, LCK definitely have the right read?
For us, at least, for sure, because FBI is a big LPL watcher, and I watch LCK, and they clearly have different like draft style too. Like in LPL, Leonize are like mostly pick or ban. In LCK is kind of the other side, where Israel or Ash are like usually touched early, and for us, I think it's like a back and forth, and I think it's just a healthy thing to have like about the conversation, because it just kind of chooses your draft style and your play style as a team.
With you, Massu, you have two like, I would say, very vocal people in Bwipo and Inspired who are definitely looking at patch notes, I'd say. Like, did they kind of readjust expectations, or like how much do they dictate how you guys approach patch as a team? Because from what it sounds like with NRG, it's like, oh, we have LPL and LCK covered, and then we reconvene and see like what our meta read is.
Yeah.
Is that similar to what happens on FlyQuest, or what do you guys do?
Yeah, because like Bwipo Inspired have a lot of confidence in themselves, of course. So like they might see a change and they'll just like instantly, if it's in their role, they'll say this champion's OP. Or if it's in our role, they'll tell me or like Quad or Busio to play that champion. And then sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. And then usually LCK or LPL happens, and then usually we're like pretty close. So we just kind of figure out their prios and why they have prio on it. And yeah, that's it.
What is the weirdest or worst read that they've had on bot lane?
I don't think they've missed yet, I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
They've been pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Just listen to them.
Yeah,
just
just
some
listen to
tips
them.
at this point. Then.
Yeah. I can't leak the next OP bot lane.
Okay.
But-
Oh, it's
Okay.
Aurora,
But it's
right?
already-
You guys are
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
already
Oh
leaked
shit,
it.
I already leaked.
What about you, Core? I assume you still watch LCK occasionally.
Yeah, I will try to like see the trend from the older legends, and then why they are picking. And I usually don't care about what I'm playing. I just pick the best champion. Try to pick the best champion at the moment. And sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes one champion is extremely OP. We should play no matter what. So, after watching the HK LPL trend, please adjust the priority. Yeah, I think always going back and forth.
What do you think NA has gotten right? Since we've been on the
Oh.
patch first, what do you think we have actually like been like, oh man, we had this?
Ivern.
Ivern?
Yeah, actually.
Look
yeah.
at
We
like,
started
Ivern was
playing-
so OP in the NA for long time, and then not
LCK
many
started
Asian
playing.
team were
Yeah.
watching how strong LCS Ivern was, and then even the the international stage, TS played it. Looked amazing. And then some HK team sometimes played it, and then it looked very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like one champ I'll hear from like contracts. Oh, this guy's Ivan, not good. Not good.
Kenyon Ivan?
Yeah, Kenyon Ivan. I think I could do better, you know.
Okay.
But it's just kind of funny.
Hasn't played.
Is he just sitting there rating Ivern pathing or something?
Yeah, he's just saying like he doesn't understand this Ivan pathing, like, or, like stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, I don't know what
Okay.
you're talking about, but sure. but because contract is a really good
Yeah.
Ivan, so like
Yeah.
I'm like trusting him,
Mm.
full trust.
Nice. So we're the League of Ivern
Yeah,
Yeah.
in NA.
Oh, and Chicks.
and Zix and Seraphine back then.
Oh yeah,
Before,
true.
yeah.
Huhi and Core. I'm gonna show. Yeah, okay. Core can already see
Okay.
it. I'm gonna show you a picture.
Okay.
Massu, do you recognize these people?
You cannot find
That's
me?
cool.
Yeah, you can't find Core?
In the middle?
Yeah.
Do I look different?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Like more face structure. Like now.
Okay.
A little bit different.
Damn.
When was that?
2014.
Yeah,
Like
14,
10 years
yeah.
ago.
You guys played on the same team?
Yeah.
As-
in LCK.
As a carry.
OGN.
Yeah.
Oh, you were AD?
AD carry mid lane.
Yeah, we were
Oh.
carry duo.
Yeah.
Now playing support post.
Both support, you know.
Demoted.
Nice. Support is OP.
Yeah. In our group, I think there was SKT T1S. Do you know? Like when
When they had two teams?
Yeah, when they
I
had
think
two
I think
teams.
so.
and Samsung White,
Okay.
Samsung White.
and then one.
CJ
Yeah, CJ Blaze or something.
Frost.
Yeah.
Shea Frost.
However, 3 strong team, and then it was us.
That was-
Yeah, it was hard.
It was hard?
Yeah, it was hard.
I was gonna say, I just think it's really funny because not many people know that you guys played together at all, and then also as AD carry and mid. For Massu, who is again our rookie, what is one thing during that year that you wish you had known going into your League of Legends career?
I think now like the industry is like so much more advanced. Because back then, like me and Core, you know,
Yeah.
like we didn't even have AC. We don't have 5 computers. Like we couldn't even eat
No
like
food.
a meal. You know, like
money.
so. I guess like be grateful of like what you have and like
Yeah.
don't ever lose your motivation. I think we should just be thankful about like this. Now it's kind of becoming weird, but like, yeah, just being grateful and kind of not just doing your best. I think.
And then
yeah.
when we started, like there was no veteran players on the team,
Yeah.
so we didn't know how to play the game. So like we got shit on, but we didn't know why we got shit on.
Yeah.
Like no one can tell us the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the more time after getting experience, I think having those players on the team very important.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much
Thank
for
you.
joining
Thank you.
me. And that will do it for this week's episode of Pros. Please reach out to our guests, thank them for being here, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.